Learning the business is one aspect, but all the other parts that go into running a successful business and building a business,
Yeah.
it's a whole other job in itself.
Yeah. You're just
Aside
working
from
in
you
the
actually
business
working with the
and
clients.
on the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Real conversations with Amy Dahl about wealth, about generosity, and about family success. Welcome to the Dollars and Cents the podcast.
Welcome to Dollars and Cents the podcast. My name is Amy Dahl, and thanks for joining us today, where we talk about wealth building, generosity, and family success. And I am excited to have you in my living room today while I talk to one of my team members and one of my favorite people in the world. I think I say that every week, but this time I really mean it. One of my favorite people in the world and an agent on my team, Jennifer Stimpson.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you've been over here a million times, but now we're over with mics and
Right.
lights.
Yeah, this is quite a setup.
It's kind of fun though. So today I asked you to come on the podcast, talk less about real estate, which you're great at, but more to talk about the leap that you made 5 years ago from, the 9-to-5 type job mentality to being a business owner and entrepreneurship. And so I want to talk about that leap and what went into it and how you got started in real estate. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are looking at 2025, feeling that itch that they need to do something different, and wondering what that is. So you can talk about jumping into real estate, but for others it may be taking a career change, leap of faith, and in particular as a mom. So first, tell me about what you did before real estate and how you got started, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a mama of boys just like you. I've got two boys, 16 and almost 19. And I had been, prior to jumping into real estate, I was a preschool music teacher and also had a little side business where I went to different local schools and kids would sign up and they would come for an hour after school and we would do a whole music program with them. Which was the funny story, right? Because that's how we ended up getting connected, but didn't know we were connected.
Yes, this is a really funny story. This is like the God meant to be divine intervention thing.
Yeah.
So tell that story.
Okay, so I did that for I think 8 years. Loved all the littles. It was really fun. I really did love it. But we had gotten to a place where I was ready for a change. We had just closed a door. I think I've shared this with you before. We were pursuing adoption. We actually lost an adoption and it just wrecked me. And by this time it was years and years of a process. And my littles at the time we started the process now were high school age. And so we were we were letting that door close and it was a hard part of our journey. And all when that was kind of happening, I was like, I just need just a new shift. And by that point, my kids were in high school and I was thinking about college fees and wanting to support them and help them so they don't come out of college with crazy amounts of debt. If we could, that would be my goal, to help them with school. And in the back of my mind, I just thought real estate could be fun. I don't know. I mean, I think the running joke is, we watch HGTV shows and they make it look so easy and so much fun. And I thought, well, I can maybe do that. And I think I would enjoy it. And as I was kind of starting to just think what I might want to do, up popped on Facebook, of all places, another mom, a local mom, who said, hey, is anybody try to get into real estate? And did you start part-time? Can you do it part-time? And I just, was opening up the comments and kind of reading them because that question resonated with me. And you actually had responded and I couldn't tell you now what you said, but it caught my eye and I read it and I thought, I'm going to reach out to this lady. I don't know who Amy Dahl is, but I'm going to just message her and see what she might share with me. And you said, well, can I call you? And I said, well, sure, here's my number. And then you called me, and instead of it just being a random number that popped up, it said Luke Dudash's mom. And I was like, what? I'm so confused. But I had your son, Luke, in my after-school program at the school that y'all were currently at the time. But I had never met you, and I didn't connect doll with
Dash,
Dash.
yeah.
So it was really wild to realize that I had your kiddo in my class, and we spoke, and you were like, well, why don't you shadow me?
And you live 5 minutes from me.
5
too.
minutes,
We should,
of,
like door
yes,
to door.
door to door. And I did. I came and rode around with you for the day and got to see a little bit of it. We started talking about next steps if I might want to pursue it. And you said, hey, if you've got time this summer, since you won't have the preschool, won't be in. I still had some summer camps I did, but my time was more available. You said, just knock it out. You don't have to start now, but knock
Your
it
license
out.
classes, because
Yeah.
you hadn't even been licensed at this point.
No, I
You're
was just thinking
pondering
about
the
it,
idea.
looking into it, what it all would entail. And I thought, well, maybe I will. I was going to wait a year.
Yeah.
I'm a planner.
Right.
Think about things before I take the leap. But I thought, well, why can't I just go ahead and
just
take
get
the
it
class, get it done?
Mhm.
And then I'm one step closer. And then maybe I do start part-time and I take another school year to kind of learn the ropes a little bit and then let that go and then take the leap into full-time.
Oh, but God laughs at our best
That's
life plans,
right.
doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Because it wasn't that long after I did get licensed that summer. I
Yeah.
called you back and said, hey, I just got my license. What opportunities could I have at your brokerage? And you took the giant leap of asking me to come and be a part of your team, which has been phenomenal.
And then
COVID
hit.
happened.
And if you had been still teaching, you're out of a job.
Yeah, out
completely.
of a job. So I'm so grateful. It could have been just a very different scenario
Yeah.
if I hadn't already started the process. And then it was pivoting, hardcore pivot and jump all in. And at that point, I think we had gone to R4.
Yep, which is the RE/MAX convention, the
yep.
annual convention.
That had just happened, and
It did like a week before COVID hit.
Yep.
Yes.
And I went. I had taken that time off, and then during that was, again, the timing, right? Because when we got back is when everything started to shut down.
Yes.
But I had already gotten some really good nuggets there. I had learned some things about videoing and YouTube and all the different things that you don't even realize you might do when you own a business. And really spearheaded me getting back, because then I had time. Everything shut down.
Well, and it's funny because you
So-
look back now and you were thinking, I can do this part-time, but to
Right.
really be a business owner and to run a business and to scale
To
and
scale
to
it.
grow, you got to jump in with both feet.
Yeah.
Like you got to take that leap of faith, and it's not always possible financially.
Right.
But when you're ready to grow,
Yeah.
that growth comes with jumping in full force.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what's been your biggest surprise being an entrepreneur, being in real estate? Well, was it HGTV? Is it HGTV?
Yes, it would be that, because it is not like HGTV. And learning the business is one aspect, but all the other parts that go into running a successful business and building a business, it's a whole other job in itself.
Yeah. You're
Aside
working
from
in
you
the
actually
business
working with the
and
clients.
on the business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a huge surprise. It's not as glamorous as they make it. It's definitely not hey, my schedule is super flexible and I can work when I want to work, because the clients are number one and they are off evenings and weekends, right? Most of our clients are professionals of some sort. And so you have to be available when they're available.
Yeah.
Which means, not being at home for dinner sometimes, or being away on a weekend for half a day or all day sometimes, when you've got clients that are really in the throes of trying to find that perfect home and we're really hardcore searching. It's a lot of hours.
Yeah. And I know, because I see you and I talk with you every day and every week, you've learned a lot of management, prioritization. And sometimes we learn those the hard way in real estate.
It's
too.
definitely been a growth. Yeah.
Couple of years.
Because I'm not a master of it, and I've failed being able to balance and make the time necessary to truly work on my business when things do get busy in the business. And so that's probably going to be an ongoing area of growth for me.
Always. I had a real
But
estate
I'm
coach.
starting to get a little bit more clarity on that
Yeah.
and how to prioritize and, set those boundaries when you need to.
Yeah.
Be able
I
to
had a
work
real
on those
estate
things.
coach tell me, actually, it was somebody in the Navy. It was a Navy department head when I was juggling the reserves and Navy and a family that, achieving perfect balance is a dream. It'll never happen.
Never happen.
And it's always a struggle, but prioritizing and knowing
Yeah.
what's most important to you so
Right.
that when you do have to make decisions
Yeah.
and put things in line.
Yeah.
But
I don't know that I could have done this business if my kids were younger. I think I would have really struggled, and I don't know that I would have. I think it just would have been emotional turmoil. I feel like I'm not
Yeah.
enough there for them. So for me, I'm glad that I waited to kind of
Yeah.
go for it once they were older. I see a lot of people with young kids. I mean, you've got young kids that are
Yeah.
able to make it work, but
Well, I think that's a very,
I'm amazed at y'all how
Yeah.
y'all do that when you have littles.
well, that's a really honest and candid reply. And I think people deserve that because I get that question all the time. I started without children, right? So my husband and I were
Right.
dating, and then we were newlyweds, and I was a reservist at the time, and he was active duty, so he was deploying, and I was still drilling, but building this real estate career. And I don't know, those first 3 years are so critical, throwing yourself into them. So your kids were in high school.
Right.
I didn't have kids. I could work as late as I wanted if people wanted to work evenings and weekends. And for me, I did because he was deployed, and it made things go by so much faster. So if I worked all weekend or, worked it well into the evenings, I didn't think about the fact he wasn't home,
Right.
and I could grow. And now I'm established, very
Mhm.
fortunate, and I have surround myself with great help, and we are
Mhm.
only as good as the people we surround ourselves with. So I have great mentors, I had great advisors, and then I have great people that lift me up and help me at home and help me. I mean, from you who have enabled me to have a life to my marketing director who's producing the podcast behind the scenes. I
Right.
mean, everything.
Yeah.
So I we're all in different places. I
Yeah.
would have had a hard time starting this when my babies were young, but I didn't know that at the time.
Right.
And now I'm
No.
just navigating a different road, and my struggles are different, but
Yeah.
we all have different struggles.
True.
So, but okay, so you've learned time management. It wasn't everything. What's been the best thing about it though? Because there is an element of being able to control your time that is so invaluable.
That's true.
Being a
That
business
is true.
owner.
Yes. I think some of the nicest surprises are the perks, are the relationships that you build with your clients. I mean, that's been a blessing. I don't think I mean, I always worked with littles, right?
Yeah.
And prior to that, I worked with teenagers. So this was my first career where I was working with adults, and those adults becoming close friends, and then, watching them have babies. Or I have a pretty high statistic of working with clients, couples who shortly after getting their home are
Yes.
pregnant. And so I always kind of warn the couples that don't have children yet that, you might want to just beware. My track record is pretty good. My
You've
track
been to a
record is
lot
up
of baby
here.
showers.
I have baby showers. Yeah. And getting invited to things
Yeah.
like that. It's just special. So they become like
Yeah.
family. I love the relationship aspect of it. And then I just love everything about buying and selling, like across the board. I don't know whether I enjoy buyers or sellers more. As I get more sellers and kind of get to take on trying to plan out ways to make their home better before we put it on the market, like I'm really enjoying that little niche too. So
You're good at it though.
but I love the buyers. I love first time home buyers. I love going and seeing all the homes, and just building the relationships along the way.
Yeah.
Just also good.
Yeah, you're a good problem solver, and you're good at holding people's hands. And it's been fun to watch you shine in the decorating listing side of it now too, and the improvements and going in and seeing things with fresh eye. Because there's no right answer or wrong answer in
No,
real estate.
right.
A lot of times it's just a perspective and a viewpoint, and finding
Right.
people. I
Yeah.
think we had a client event. The baby thing makes me laugh. We had a client event. Was it last year or 2 years ago? It was strawberry picking one year.
Okay.
And we had 5, I think, new babies or pregnant mamas show up.
Yeah.
They were all pregnant. We had a whole bunch of pregnancies. And then the following year, we had a whole bunch of new babies.
This
And-
year at the pumpkin one we just did, one of my clients came up, and of course their little guy now was, I don't know, almost 2. And then they're like, well, And I'm like, no way. And she told me then that she was pregnant with number 2. And I was like, oh my goodness. There's quite several squeals happening in that moment. It's just exciting to watch.
It is. Those relationships are fun, aren't they?
They are really
And Jen's
fun.
been at this, you've been at this 5.5 years now.
5.5.
Crazy how fast it's gone.
Yeah.
So I never feel old until I'm now in a second career where I've been in it long enough where I started with young couples and now I get to help their kids buy houses. So this will be 21 years in April.
Wow.
And now their children are buying homes. I'm like, no, you were pregnant when you were in the womb when we bought your first house.
That's quite a cycle.
Yeah, it is a big cycle. It's fun. You start to feel like the family realtor. You're, you get to work with multiple generations. I have several families where I've helped the grandparents and then the parents originally. I met the grandparents through the parents. And now I've helped their kids. So I've helped 3 generations in one family. And then you realize, ooh, wait a minute, I am getting old. So
aren't we all?
Yes. But how lucky are we that we get to grow
I know.
old?
Yeah, that's true.
But all right.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of your goals. We've done a lot of goal setting and planning, and discussions on the podcast too. So
right.
What do you
I know Lisa was great.
Oh yeah, wasn't she amazing?
Yes, she was. I went home and I went to watch that. I told my family, I said, guess what we're doing? We've never done vision boards. I've always personally wanted to. I just haven't. I didn't really get big into goal setting until this career.
Yeah.
And so I've had to learn what that means and how to where to even start.
Yeah.
When you're trying to business plan. I had no clue how to do a business plan. That's still an area of growth. But yeah, I'm enjoying setting the goals this year. It was a little more exciting. I feel like I've got enough systems in place that I'm seeing how you can scale the business. Yeah. And that's been really exciting to see. Trying to get, not trying, I am getting back on track with my YouTube videos, putting the necessary boundaries and priorities.
Tell us about that. Tell us about your YouTube channel, because we haven't even talked about that. And that was one of the first things we implemented when you came in.
Yeah. Well, COVID happened, and at that retreat, that R4 RE/MAX convention, one of the classes was on social media and using video. And they talked about YouTube. And
this is 5.5 years ago. So
right. So it was relatively new at the time. There was a few people out there doing it. And I thought, well, I don't have many clients because I just started. COVID just happened. Everything is shut down. Yeah. So I have time on my hands. So let's just see if we can put
you read a book by 𝐿 𝐼𝐻.
𝐿 𝐼𝐻, yes. Yeah, I've since met her. She's phenomenal. Learned a lot from her on how to create a YouTube channel, what types of videos to post, to get the ideas to gain buyers that are relocating here. Yeah. So, I started just researching other people that were doing it, teaching it, figuring out what kind of videos really do work. People use Google and YouTube. Yep. I mean, how many times do we as a family? I use YouTube all the time
I use
for
YouTube
other things.
At least once a day.
Yeah. So people get on there and they're searching. So if they know they're moving somewhere, they'll put in moving to Virginia Beach. And because of the military and your involvement, a lot of clients that you have are military. They are moving this way, are PCSing. And so it's like, well, let's just give it a go. Yeah. And it was a lot of work.
Oh yes.
But I had time because I didn't have as much business. Yeah. So I spent the necessary time, and I was like, once a week I'm going to make these videos happen.
And you were so good about being religious.
So
I
was until I wasn't.
Well, that's the balance, right?
Yeah, that's the balance.
When you're working, you have time to work on the business, and then you create so much business that you're working in the business.
Not enough time on
and that's any
so
business
owner. That scale, trying to balance it out. So I'm back trying to really balance it out, make sure that because I gained a lot of great clients through it, but my consistency dropped off, and so that's okay. That's a stretch goal for me. So I'm learning how to get more help where I need it, so that I can do all the things that I need to do to continue to scale and grow. So this year is about weekly videos for sure. I'm going to explore more with sellers too this year. I think there's ways to help sellers a little bit more with some more videos. And also webinars is another big goal of mine. I really want to try to help first-time home buyers. Yeah. The statistic right now is that a first-time home buyer, the age went from 35-year-olds in 2023 to last year was 38.
Is the average first time?
So it's getting getting higher. And I don't know if it's because as the home prices have increased, it's a little more out of reach or what, but I want to just get in there with those that haven't bought a home and show them what they need to do to build their credit, how to save, what programs are available that offer incentives for first-time home buyers. So I'm excited to kind of see about doing some webinars. So that's kind of my new area that I want to kind of dive into. We'll see. Doing some training on that now.
Exciting.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
And I think touched on something when you were talking about finding the right people to help you. We started out, I remember sitting on the floor in our Chesapeake office,
trying to figure out how to do these videos.
Get them on
there. We had a few.
We couldn't get them on. And we're trying to navigate YouTube on our own and watching when we got excited when we went over the first 100 views, which is so funny now to watch things go viral.
Right.
But but like the squeals of joy when we had 100 views on a video.
Yeah. And then 100 subscribers. That was a big one. Big moment.
Subscribers.
Yeah.
And it used to take 15 takes. Or the very first couple, we were in Cheshire Forest and a car would drive by, or we hated the way we sounded. Now we don't even listen to the way you sound. You just record and
just
go.
Do it.
Just do it. And
but it's about having, again, the help, have more help right now to pump those out. I'm still doing some editing, but have some others helping me to keep them on track.
So it's leveraging your time, right? Hiring the right people, and not being afraid to not be good at something. Don't be fearful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Try
to
new
have
things.
that entrepreneurial spirit is to, you can be a little scared, but don't be afraid to take the leap,
right?
Because you're never going to be good at something in the beginning,
right?
I mean, we were just talking about how it took us 15 takes in the first YouTube channel videos, and now you can go out and record them and bring them back and edit. And when you look at the funny, to us funny, those first couple YouTube videos to now, but with practice and repetition, you become better. I mean, we were already talking about the angles and the lighting on the first podcast, which was just Thanksgiving when I launched this podcast.
Brand new for you.
Yeah. And so we are growing and learning and how quickly things are even changing and evolving for the podcast,
Right.
You're never going to be good at something in the beginning, but you get better and better and you got to stick with it.
Right.
That repetition.
Yep.
So,
for sure.
But really fun to watch you grow. I'm excited to hear the webinars.
Yeah.
Your teaching background makes you really good.
I do love to
at
teach.
Real estate.
Yeah.
Veterans and teachers, I think, honestly, are two of my favorite professions to mentor into real estate because they make really good realtors, and those who have been in the service industry because they're patient.
Right. Yes.
So hospitality workers, people that are patient and used to dealing with people.
Right.
Teachers, because you're educating your clients on the buying and selling process or the investing process, which I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And veterans, because you're used to getting up and being a self-starter and making your coffee early in the morning and starting your day and getting things rolling. It just comes natural. So, it's fun to watch. Big goals for 2025.
Yeah.
If you could give a piece of advice to somebody, we'll break it in half. You could give one piece of advice to somebody who was looking to start a new business, what would it be? And then in particular, somebody who's looking to go into real estate, what would it be?
Okay. Let's start with real estate first. Yeah. I would encourage someone to make sure that they're getting out and doing interviews at different brokerages. When I took the classes and the peers in that class, a lot of them didn't do that. And I was like, you haven't gone and met with anybody yet? And I met with you, but I didn't just meet with you. I went and met with several. The brokerages are going to have different values, different feels. And so I think each brokerage run a little bit differently in what they offer their agents too, and what types of trainings they offer. Training is hugely important in this business.
Huge.
And so I would definitely encourage them to do their research and go interview at several different ones, narrow it down, and really think long and hard about what they choose. I forget the statistic, but most people don't stay with the brokerage the first one they go with, and I think it's because they don't know yet
what they
that
need.
Each one is different, and what they need, or all of that just comes into play. I think people just don't realize that.
I think they get wrapped up in now I see it as a broker owner. They get wrapped up in the promise of I'll feed you leads and I'll feed you business, and really the truly successful person doesn't need to be fed. They have their own sphere of influence. They have their own circle of people.
Right.
They need to be taught how to grow
Systems.
and to grow their own business.
Yeah.
Like, somebody handing you something is only going to last so long.
Right.
But if you can teach the person to farm, the person to grow, then they're going to generate their own business. And I think they don't realize that. They get swept up in those promises.
Yes.
But if you can get somebody who's going to really, truly mentor you, find a good mentor.
Yeah, mentors are definitely important. Training is important. And trying to realize that there's so many different ways to do this business.
Yes.
And being open to what those differences are and trying to find what aligns well with you, what's congruent to who you are and what would naturally you would already enjoy. I would never enjoy door knocking or cold calling. Like, I just knew that was not me.
Yeah.
It can work, but it would never work for me.
Yeah.
And just trying to find those avenues that you're going to thrive in.
Yeah. We had a lot of conversations about that in the beginning, working your sphere of influence. You're a family, you're a mom, you're a teacher, and that went hand in hand with the YouTube channel instead of trying to do it the way somebody else is doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love being creative. I think that's another reason why I kind of was drawn to it. I didn't mind the editing to begin with because it just kind of, that creative side of me enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But a lot of work, I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
Well, your creativity makes you a good problem solver too. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of problem solving in this business. If you think that it's
there is.
all, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, it definitely is not.
No, every day is different.
And the amount of problems that can happen that you don't even realize or can happen in this business too, like
you get to see behind the curtain how much we do to make a transaction feel easy.
Yes, to get you to that closing table. And sometimes it's quite a feat to get to that closing table. And a lot we try to shield from our clients, right? Because that's partly why we're there, is to be their advocate and handle those problems when they pop up.
Right.
But yeah, I see some crazy things in this wonderful
we could
world
do a
of real
whole
estate.
Podcast about crazy things in real estate.
Maybe we should.
We should actually.
That could be kind of a fun
future
one.
topic. We're gonna have crazy things that have happened in real estate.
Real estate. Yeah.
Yeah, we could write a book on that one.
We could. That would be fun. We should add that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Note to self. All right. Somebody just jumping into a business.
A business
in general.
Mm-hmm. I think knowing that there's two sides to your business, right? Like we've already talked about. There's working in whatever your business is, whether you own a shop or something online or whatever you try to do. There's the act of doing that business, but that's barely half of it. It's almost like another whole full-time job of just all the back end stuff that you have to do.
And you got to see that with the preschool music business because you taught the music classes and everything.
Did.
But the whole other element of marketing to different schools and all the marketing and reaching out to the families and the administration, it's a balance.
And it's not a 9 to 5. I mean, it's not a 40-hour week.
Yeah.
So it's exhausting at times, but worth it. You grab some relief and some time off when you can, and you push through hard and hustle when you have to. Yeah. But in the end, it's worth it.
Yeah.
The ability to scale, the freedom that our family has gotten from this new career. I don't think I had any inkling of what was possible. Just starting to kind of really realize that the last year or two that this really is an exciting career that I can scale. And hopefully pay that to college tuition. This coming up. We're working on it.
Tuition, and you've gotten to take some
family trips.
And accompany your husband on some of his work trips and things that you wouldn't have been able to do if you still were tied to it every week.
Every week, every paycheck. I've been there.
Yeah.
Well,
and you and one other thing I think that when you were talking about looking around, you ended up on a team. But talk to me about how that decision, when people are trying to go out and do a solo entrepreneur or making a decision to join, a team structure.
Yeah.
How has that panned out for you?
It's worked great for me. I think just personality wise, I thought the idea of working on a team and learning under a rock star, because you're a true rock star in this business. And I could just see that in you. And so I thought, well, if I could be on a team, and and learn from the best to get my feet wet and get into it, then why would I not take that on? So it was kind of a no-brainer. I had narrowed things down to you and maybe one other one, but the ability to come on a team, I just thought, then I had you, like, whenever I needed you, as my mentor and to answer those questions. And oh wow, I actually need to make a contract, but I haven't done that yet. So, and you walked alongside me, so that just been amazing for me. It may not be for everybody. Some people feel like they don't want, they just want to go get it themselves, and more power to them. But for me, the team aspect was attractive, and I felt like I could thrive within that.
Yes.
So, and I don't, no regrets. I mean, I'm still happy as a clam.
Yeah,
So
I got lucky
love
because
it.
I started on a team, so I don't know any
Right.
different.
Yeah.
And I've always had a team, so when I wanted to take a pause and I was having babies or I want to take a vacation with the family,
Yeah.
we can cover for each other, and it is seamless. I don't have to find somebody else from the office to cover for me.
Right.
Like, you operate the same way I do. If the transition to our clients, they don't even notice it.
Right.
They're still being well taken care of. And so it's a little trickier when you're a solo agent, because you've got to find a partner
Yeah.
that you can work with, because the only way as a business owner, I think a lot of business owners will tell you the hardest part is just taking time off and still letting the business function on its own. And so creating a business that runs itself without you there is probably every business owner's goal.
Right.
But the team definitely has its benefits in
Definitely
that regard.
benefit.
But
Yeah.
and I, from a different perspective, when you were interviewing, we were looking at going outside the family to bring on an agent for the first time.
I know,
Yeah.
it's the first.
Yeah, my sister was licensed at the time, and she's part of our team now, but she was raising her babies, so her license was in referral, and then looking at it from top down as a business owner and business leader, like, hey, I need to scale too, and find somebody that works the way I do.
Because at that time, your dad was still on the team.
He was, he was nearing retirement, and I knew I had really young littles. So my youngest is 6, and he was only 6 months. And I thought, if I'm going to continue to grow and provide the exact same level of service that I do to my clients, I need somebody who operates the way I do. And so in any business, I think you can teach the business, but I can't teach morals, ethics, values, care, empathy. So those are the things I look for in an employee as a business owner. I look for those traits above all. I think I can teach any skill set, business set, but I can't teach those internal values to somebody, nor do I want to try, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So when you see them in somebody, you realize that they'll be a good fit for your team, at least the way we operate.
Yeah.
So because we're taking care of people, we're solving problems every day.
That's right. Every day.
Yeah. So and people remember how you treat them, right? Not what you do for them, but how you treat them.
How you treat them.
So, well, this has been fun, and I am really excited. I get the lucky seat that I get to watch you grow and watch your family thrive, and it's really been fun. I'm excited for your 2025 and for our team's 2025.
Yeah.
We have big plans, you guys.
Big plans.
Big plans this year.
Big goals.
And lots of people waiting for us to serve them. We are seeing some fun PCS moves already happening in January, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And so I can't wait to see you grow. Thank you for
likewise.
spending your time
Absolutely.
telling everybody out there what it's like to start fresh in a brand new business. So thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this. We look forward to bringing you more success stories and words of wisdom in the coming weeks. And we hope you have a wonderful 2025. I'm Amy Dahl, and have a great week.
Real conversations with Amy Dahl about wealth, about generosity, and about family success.